Hey everybody, welcome back to Ed and Heather's Kitchen. Hey, today we're going to be starting, I say starting, you'll see why, a very traditional German dish called Sauerbraten. Now sit back, relax, this is going to take a long time, although the video is going to be short. So you have your coffee, you're ready? Okay, let's get cooking. So, Sauerbraten is basically a marinated roast. So that's what we're going to start with. We have a 1.5 to 2 pound roast. Recommended roast, whatever's on sale. Cheapest roast you can find. The tougher, the better. It works great. We're going to slice up an onion. I just layered mine. It's the way I am, the way I like it. Now over here, we're going to put together the marinade. We have a 1.5 cups of water. We're going to put in, there we go, 1/2 cup of white vinegar. Remember, this is not rocket science. We have a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of peppercorns, thereabouts, and 4 bay leaves. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. I'm not going to make you suffer through that, but we're going to bring this to a boil. Welcome back. I told you I'm not going to make you watch this come to a boil. That's about as boring as watching paint dry. But this whole mix is now at a boil. I just turned off the heat so it stopped boiling. Now we're going to pour this, and move my ginger beer out of the way, over the meat. Now you can smell the vinegar. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to let this cool. Once it's cooled, we're going to cover it nice and tight. We're going to put it in the fridge. And then comes the long part. This is going to soak for 2 days. 48 hours. Now I could be mean and put a camera in the fridge and make you watch, but I'm not going to. So I'll see you in 2 days. Can you believe it's already been 2 days? I can. I've been turning this. So this is marinated for 48 hours. I'm going to pull it out of the marinade and let it kind of drip, drain. Any more on there? No.
An onion in the back.
Yeah, I got a couple of them right there. Okay. I'll take them off in a minute. Alright, that's good. Oh, look at that. Use my fingers. What we're doing here, we're just going to brown this up on all sides. Then we're going to brown it a second time. I'll bring you back when I'm browning it the second time. So, you can see this meat has been browned up a little bit. I'm just going to add some flour to it. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons. Use what it takes. Some people are going to screech. I'm reaching in the flour with my fingers. I know where my fingers have been. Once I've floured up a little bit here, we're going to rebrown it. Just add that little extra layer of flavor, as the barbecue pit boys like to say. Yes, they have a meat channel. Now, back in the pan. We're going to brown them up some more. When you put it back in the pan, keep your fingers out of the grease. It's hot. Back in a minute. Are you back? Are you still here with me? Good. This is almost done. Now, I'm doing this in a crock pot. You can do it in a Dutch oven. You can do it in a big fry pan. It's up to you. I'm doing the crock pot. It's just easier. Now the marinade that we had this meat in, I put it in the crock pot. I took out 3 of the 4 bay leaves. Left the 4th one in there. This meat is now ready to come out of the fry pan. This will go right over here into the crock pot. Mix it in. There we go. Now, all this glorious juice from the fry pan with all the bits and bats. Scrape that up. And that's all going into the crock pot as well. Where it's going to cook for about a half hour. Listen to that. Ooh. It's too bad you can't smell this.
I'm drooling.
There. Now, we're going to cover this. It's going to cook for a half hour. At the end of the half hour, we come back, we take out that last bay leaf, then we'll cook it for another 2 hours or until tender. We'll be back in a half hour. Okay, so it has been a half hour. Oh, looked up, bay leaf's right on top. Now I'm just going to flip this meat over. It has to cook for another 2 hours. I'll flip it over another time or two during that. Oh, I wish they had smell-o-vision. Okay, we'll be back in 2 hours. Welcome back. The clock has been ticking. It's been over 2 hours. And this is perfect. That lid was hot. Okay. Now you can feel how tender that meat is. Just gonna drain it a little bit here. Shift it over to the plate. And I'll show you what we're gonna do there for a second. But first thing we're gonna do is just a little bit of salt, about a teaspoon. Then we need a half a cup of sour cream. That's a quarter. Another quarter. That makes for a half cup. There you go. Now we're going to mix this in. We're going to let this cook for another 5 minutes. Oh, that's smelling good. While this cooks, I'm going to cut up the meat. We're going to serve this up traditionally with potato dumplings. Heather was nice enough to make.
Yay, me!
Okay, so we'll be back in about 5-6 minutes. So it's been a couple of minutes. I've cut up the meat. I gotta do one last taste test of the gravy. Oh, that is just perfect. That is just perfect. You want to try some?
Sure.
Careful, it is hot. While you're doing that, I'm going to plate me up some meat.
That is good stuff.
2 slices of meat here. Of course, I have to have a couple of dumplings. What would a meal like this be without dumplings? There you go. Dumplings are made for people who like to play with their food, because they play with you. Anyone who debates that has never tried to cut them up. Now,
Or rolled them for that matter.
well, there is that too. Yes, people, I'm going to be rude. I'm going to do a taste test. I could have made this gravy thicker, but I didn't want to.
Should I tell them how to make the gravy thicker if they want it?
Yeah, if you want to.
Just add some flour.
Mix it in nice and quick.
And that should thicken it up.
Okay. That is just perfect. That is small town German comfort food. Basically, it's German pot roast. And that turned out just perfect. You want to try this, fella?
Sure.
Give that a try.
Mmm. Mmm. Yummy.
Okay, everybody. We'll be back. Not sure when, but when we come back, we'll do some more cooking. We're going to have some fun. Until then, play with your food.